It is our last Miramar of the day. Let's see if Mirror and Sejong can keep things up. Somewhat of an unfortunate remake for them, considering they had such a strong position over towards Puerto Paraiso and Impala. That would have been an awesome start for them.
All right, no prank. In the plane, we go into Miramar. Final time today. Los Leones up to Campo Militar. Are we going to get another carbon copy circle, or are we going to be going somewhere else on the map? We'll have to wait and see, as our plane has just reached the start of this plane path.
Now towards Campo Militar as my cat attempts to destroy my whole setup, as usual. The classic. But yeah, I think for this kind of plane path, it actually is one of the more awkward ones, considering it's so heavy east. Makes some of the crossings over towards the western side of the map kind of difficult. You know, you will have to go a bit of a distance to grab some vehicles on the way.
Team Spirit with two teams to their south. Xavier and Zeus could be in trouble. Team Spirit, yeah, they're just going to head over to Shumasera, stay out of it for the time being. DRX in Puerto Paraiso very much alone right now. Looking out for any other hot drops, any other trouble on the horizon in the early game. MSJ alone in Impala. Hard south circle blank. Keeps Partona in. Is good for teams like Xavier or Zeus as well. Team Spirit a little bit more exposed to the Los Leones crowd, but still should be fairly safe as well.
It's different, which is good. We like a little bit of a different circle, but it does give Team Spirit a bit more of a hope here. But to be honest with you, even on Shumasera circles, I don't really feel like it gives Team Spirit an advantage too much. So we'll see what they go for during this game. I think we have an interview coming up soon with Mafia Ninja from Hora. So we'll let you know when that one's ready to go.
I'm excited. You're going to be hearing from the team from Nepal. I mean, we saw in the VT just before the game. They think this group is called the Group of Death because they're in it. I think they've got to back that up, but right now, they're doing okay. They're ninth on the tables overall, 59 points in the mix of it all as well. Currently on the map, they're over towards water treatment, potentially moving out further. They'll have to rotate down soon as well. So potential west side rotate for them if they're able to get out of this in just a while. Major Pride, near Alpha 7. Let's go on the windowsill. Looking to try and swipe Becker away from this one, but Elementrix is there for the backup. A twofold fight, and he doesn't have a helmet or much armor to play with. Becker able to do a lot of work there. And that is going to be the first point for Major Pride as they add that one onto the tally. But we are going to be hopping in with Aura very, very shortly. We're talking to Mafia Ninja as well, as Blank was talking about earlier. I feel like I've waffled on long enough. Blank, what do you think?
I think let's go to the interview. Gadget interview.
Activate interview. Interview. Not yet. Just a sneaky little Miramar joke.
Sesame interview.
Is there an interview?
I'm ready I'm ready to get into this interview.
Oh, maybe we're gonna jump on over. Okay, we're on board with Hora on the observing feed, which means that it's quite likely we're going over. Here we go.
Hora Esports, Mafia Ninja, one of the coolest names. I do have to say that out there, man. So far, you guys started off the day in 15th place. You've been able to just crawl your way up the leaderboard, even being able to get your first win as well. What has been the biggest change?
So basically, the vibes on the team have changed from yesterday. So we were in a bad mood yesterday, but like today, the vibes chill. So we had a call yesterday with the owners, and they asked how we wanted to end the league stage. So basically, the players are giving the answers on the battlefield.
Oh, all right. I like that. Well, you know what? Let's continue on talking about that, because the ultimate goal, at least for some of these teams, and hopefully for your team as well, is being in the top 3. What do you think you guys have to do, or the team has to do, to get you to that next level, right? To be in the top 3?
So we just have to be consistent. So yesterday did not go our way, but today we've been like doing well up there. But the last game did not go our way. So hopefully the next game we can like score points and be consistent throughout the whole league stage.
Well, hey, you guys have been consistent for the most part today. That has been Mafia Ninja from Hura Esports. Back to you guys.
There we go. They're hoping it's going to go their way, but right now they are in the middle of the pack and need to distinguish themselves. Still with half of their games left to play, as with everybody else in the lobby. Could be treacherous. But this South Circle has pushed DRX away from Puerto Paraíso and pushed them into the hills and along that coastal road. Zeus are trying to control the bridge mouth. Team Spirit as well, breaking down south from Chumacera. And Zeus and DRX could clash here, but Maniac has to send for the water.
Well, no, straight downwards. I mean, Zeus have climbed magnificently up the tables up to 7th place after what had been a disastrous day 1. Really well done to them. And they did get a pick off over towards DRX, which provides a little bit of space for them to play. That's coming through from Aaron. Yeah, it's a good rotate down towards the south side. I think a lot of teams do try and confirm over towards some of these compounds or these positions on the south side of the map, because that staging can be incredibly useful to rotate around, and getting a position there early is fantastic, especially if the circle does move down there. It is slightly premature. Oh, look at that. Hovercraft.
Fun. You love to see it. DRX, they take a knock, but they get that res on, which means that they can keep themselves alive. A 2-2 split here, and as you say, looking to confirm on these south side compounds. And they've got a lot of control over that south road rotate. So Mirror and Sejong, for instance, who may look to push in from this direction, will have to contest against them. Vampire pushing in from the northeast side with loops out to their southwest, and Major Pride further in towards Los Leones. That will be their main contest on this north side.
I did sort of enjoy the way that interview went, to be honest with you. Because a lot of times we try and speculate, like, what went wrong for that team? Was it the rotates? Was it communication? And I do like the Mafia Ninja is just like, yeah, we had a bad day. We just weren't having a nice day. You know, we woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Breakfast wasn't great. And what went downhill from there? Sometimes it can be just as simple as that.
That is true. It can be real tough to get back on to the mental game, if anything else, right? Like you just lose that step, and all of a sudden you can't really catch up. It's really, really tough stuff. But that is where a strong coach, a strong team around the players really steps in, right? It's where they give them that confidence back. It's where they bring them back up to par to make sure that they're performing at their peak, because that is what a coach is there for, right? Obviously, you do need to have that analysis side of things, but what a coach really shines at is where they keep the team together. They act as the glue between the roster. So definitely something that Aura are going to need to rely on in these coming few matches.
Especially coming in from that northwest side. They got a long rotate ahead of them. They definitely have looked better, though, in terms of positioning, in terms of gameplay. Mr. Borrow overall has been quite a standout for that team. And up to 59 points, you know, 9th place, and they are in striking range of a lot of our teams. And with a lot of squads towards the top side of the lobby, maybe not having the greatest of days today, not able to put up as many points as they might like, we've had such a big amount of catch-up going on, where the leaderboards are a bit more tight. I think the big difference between all of that at the moment is probably Harame Bros or Twisted Minds on 29 points and 25, which is where you do get that big drop-off, which allows more of those points to be siphoned elsewhere in the lobby. Oh, Mirror and Sejong, of course. Yes, yes. Circle. Circle on you.
Yeah, well, yeah, just...
Why not?
Just give them another excellent circle shift. Look at that. Down towards Miriam Sejong. Obviously, you've got DRX as well still on that coastal side, all the way on the south, just out to the east side of that bridge from Partona. And it's those compounds that they confirmed to early. They're really paying out now, Blaine.
Yeah, they did. They tried to make the best of a bad situation, which was where they were all the way over towards that eastern edge. And a lot of teams have already flowed through Los Leones and from Minas del Valle, so you are cut out slightly. That circle will definitely ease up any difficulties for them. Team Spirit's making an aggressive bulldozer maneuver through the middle of this lobby. And fair enough to them. I think they realize that there is going to be a packed amount of teams down towards the south side, considering this is one of the places you'd like to confirm a spot over towards in the early game. So they know that realistically, over the next 2 minutes, that's most likely where they're going to get the most amount of movement done without it being too impeded.
Nade over to the back, but doesn't find Vampires, who are trying to take on this scrap. This is on the southwest side of Los Leones, on the north of this central set of teams that have taken up residency early, and Vampire are looking to just take control and play towards this edge. I mean, we heard the interview earlier with Satani, right? They are willing to play as Vampire, not like the rest of the lobby, and take these edge-style gameplay decisions, and sometimes it has panned out for them. So far today, it's been a little bit less impactful than we saw in day one, but they're still up there. They're still in that conversation on 71 points, and getting on with things. Will be going up against RSG, although they disengage slightly. BTR, though, very much willing to get in and stuck into the fight, still giving Zuxi the bench treatment, but it's going to work out for them this time around against the opener to DX Xavier, but 2 of them have gone down in response. Both of them are getting rezzed almost immediately, though.
Yeah, I mean, for PTR to get back up on their feet, and DX Xavier absolutely have to regroup, reset on this one because they took a fair amount of damage, but making this into a 4v3 does make life a lot easier. Lamborghini has a tough role for himself, though. He's going to have to try and catch off one of these players, but an immediate re-knock, as well as a knock over towards Levi's, is horrendous news for DX Xavier.
They wanted to close down day 2 in that top 3, then this is not the way you want to go about it. Still, these off angles are going to be a massive impact on every single engagement now on these hillsides. You could see how full that southwest side is blank. Oh my goodness. So many teams all looking to squeeze their way in, and not too many of them going to be successful.
Well, players over by the roadside looking for a lift. Head further on down, hitchhiking a little bit, and they certainly will need to in the future.
Oh,
in the old bus, Lamborghini gets away. It's not quite a Lamborghini, but we're getting where he needs to go.
In the next circle as well. Only just, and I think that BTR are going to have to move out that way as well. As we hop over to Zeus, Mirin Sejong trying to make their way through. Still all 4 of their players alive, taking one of Zeus down. Rita can't stand up to J-Soup. The nade downhill from Final, and there's so much damage pouring in. Maniac goes low, and they are looking for the knock, finally finding one, but the damage is done. In comes Seiwu as well, as Mirin Sejong get the best end of the fight. In he goes, leaving the last player of Zeus to fall to the off angles. And that is them out for the final game of the day. Zeus climb quite far up the tables today, Blank. They're up into 7th, but no further will they go.
I mean, Mirin Sejong with that, take first place. Twisted Minds on our screens, they have lost Robs already. Did we really need the remake then? Lord also down.
Oh dear.
And Horror. Oh, the Horror, John. It's just not going well for them, is it? As a lovely nade is sent in.
Go on the back lines on this engagement as well. Twisted Minds. With 2 players still alive. Coop's just getting away, saying, Doran, you've got that, dude. I trust you. It's only Inco, right? Come on. Just send them back. Send them back to Brazil. They just get booked their ticket home. But Doran, going to be tough to make that one work. Coops is giving it a little bit of help, but not going to be too much there. Doran stretches out. If he goes down here, he goes down. That's the decision they've made.
He's going for a wide wrap. It doesn't work out, but gives Coops potentially the time he needed to get set up in his vehicle and move further inwards. Twisted Minds 25 points. This has just not been great for them. I think that, you know, although they were able to step things up towards the end of PMSL EMEA, they just haven't been able to continue that performance. That's the real difference maker, and I think it's because they need more time. That team needs more time in the kitchen, quite honestly, and it's quite important to take note of the fact that they were able to get into PMGC in the first place with this relatively newly formed team. I'm fairly happy with it. I think they should be happy, even if they're not able to get to a position where they go through to the survival stage.
Here's the thing as well, right? It's as Max was saying earlier on the desk, it just feels like a lack of that IGL specialist, because we've said it throughout all of EMEA, it is a team made up of high potency fraggers, and in general that's what we've seen them succeed on, but it's just not as coordinated as it needs to be in terms of rotations, in terms of engagements on those fights, as Hot Juke's highlighted as well. I mean, it is unfortunate because every single one of those players is special in their own right, but it's just lacking a little bit of guidance. And I could see them up. Team Spirit, they've got the long-term guidance of Kitsune on board, but Matic not going to be super powerful in this situation right now. He's already very, very low. And MSJ, they are on a tear today.
Man.
Already up into first place, and you can't connect. That spray, that's going to be painful for Nomi.
Yeah, if he was able to get that, that actually prizes open this fight a little bit. And there is certainly going to be teams looking over towards this location very shortly who would like a strong position in the circle. And Team Spirit is somewhat forced into this fight now because they need to win it. They need a location to play.
This rooftop for Kitsune is so dangerous as well, right? Because as soon as someone crests the high ground behind them, he is just completely open and exposed. And there it goes, immediately starts taking damage, has to drop back. So we hop over to Inko. This is on the west side of the circle. BTR still struggling against them here. Inactive and Satar. This is, I think, one player alive for both of these two rosters. Satar does have a teammate to potentially res if Genfos can survive for the rest of this fight. But I think Inactive, yeah, he's just going to confirm that. Grab that point for Inko. Rightly so. Rack that one up, but one player alive for each of these two teams.
Look to just give up the ghost. Send away, but Satar somewhat unhappy with the ending in that one. Looks to maybe chase. There's BTR's overall stats at the moment with an average elim of 3.1, damage of 762, which is not bad actually overall.
Certainly not. 6 elims already found for BTR on this match. They definitely need every single point they can get. Currently hovering around the full elimination bracket, not even towards the top, towards those top 3, but just getting into those survival stages may be a challenge. Loops taking a knock, but they aren't going to let that slow them down as he steps in. That might slow them down a little bit, though, as the spray goes well for Yappy. Unfortunately, there is a trade-off.
Rig from Harame. Looks to go assist his teammate Yappy underneath. Nilzada up top side. It's a good Molotov, actually. Could cause some serious problems.
Oh, nearly connects on that spray. Gets a lot done, and in fact, will take them down entirely. Really nice Molotov there from Nilzada.
I mean, for Nilzada, it was an awkward situation to be in. The fact they're able to finish them off like that is a real stinger for Harame, bro. In the meantime, Mirren Sejong and Team Spirit, their fight is slow to a crawl. Both teams accept their fate that they're going to have to deal with one another for the next 5 minutes. DRX does have a strong spot down towards that south side.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say it's a really strong hold that MSJ and Team Spirit have towards that northwest side where Major Pride are, where the positions out that direction sit. And it's going to make it difficult for the teams out in the east with Vampire lining that east side of the circle. I mean, it's going to be a pretty interesting set of developments, I think, in the next set of rotations.
Yeah, it's a hard fight for Team Spirit to win. 3v4. We've talked about the overall prowess of Mirren Sejong in terms of team fights and how we weren't too impressed with it on day 1, but coming into day 2 seems like a lot has changed for that team in terms of the mental game. And the momentum they're coming off today certainly helps in that regard in terms of being able to pick up those eliminations and play more confidently into those matches too. Schweppes picking up a knock over towards Mafioso as Alpha 7 still struggles into the day. I mean, 5th place, it is good. But it is off the back of a couple of big games, essentially.
In general, those games haven't been incredibly impressive. I mean, the last game that they were able to win, probably a little bit more so, but in general, not massively breakout for them. 2 performances there Sorry, 2 players still remaining. Coops goes down as the roll up from Demuerte. And again, today I feel like they have been a lot stronger than we've seen from them in the past, but they have sort of faltered now a couple of times. And a couple of times too many. 3 players alive, looking for that res, but it's all the way out on the back lines as well, as Loops will fall over on the west as they try to rotate past Major Pride. Still competing for that top spot. 5 eliminations for MSJ, 4 for Major Pride, and that puts them dead even, Blank.
For Major Pride, it's a really strong position they currently have, and it's a good split they're holding too. It's really difficult to get through on that northwest side, so for Major Pride, this is more about locking down that northwest edge of the map. They start working their way through onto those roadsides. Inco moves on through past BTR, those 2 solos we still have remaining, and Alpha 7 in a rough spot. More than
going to get rougher.
Yeah.
It's going down to the nades from Vampire. They might have taken the PMWC title away from Vampire, the 2-time returning defending champions. Had it taken by Alpha 7, but this Miramar, not today.
Venom all day today, mostly from different teams. Able to strike with the fangs. Some of these squads. Major Pride now looking over towards their next target in RSG, who are heavily split up. AZ does take a knock though, which will slow them down, you know. Keep them at bay for now. I mean, RSG desperately need to regroup and rethink the scenario. I'm pretty sure Team Spirit and Mirin Sejong, basically, they're both like, look, we're going to get top 5. Let's not mess this up for each other.
We could get so many points, dude. Just chill. Just chill out,
dude. Just wait. Just wait this out.
I mean, it's kind of true, right? Because the fact that they both hold in this compound here, they've got a lot of successful presence out towards the entirety of the south side, which takes up most of this, and the rest of the hillsides out to the northeast are going to be really treacherous for the multiple teams that currently occupy that area. So they don't need to worry so much about that, and they can control everything else between the 2 of them. So definitely a top 3 for both of these 2 teams.
It's going to be funny when a squad tries to crash that position and they're met with like 7 guns going their way. They're like, what do you mean? Like, how is there that many guys in there? They're all facing us at the same time. So I think for teams trying to crash that position is going to be more difficult. Again, this is part of the game, right? You know, you both know you're in a strong spot. Calm it down between the both of you. It's sort of like this gentleman's agreement that goes towards that end game. And it's a smart way to play. It is absolutely a smart way to play.
It is symbiosis in the game, of course, with the PUBG Mobile X Venom The Last Dance collaboration. Seems like they have been paying attention, MSJ and Team Spirit, both with a little bit of Venom on their hold. Maybe they went and watched the movie earlier today. Wouldn't be surprised. It's pretty decent.
Yeah, I can replicate that. I can do that.
Absolutely.
I think this definitely makes Major Pride's push even harder, though. And although they've played that northwest side very well, there is way too many sightlines looking at them as they cross this road. Getting further into the match is going to be difficult. 5 elims on the game, though. I think I'd be fairly pleased with that if I was Major Pride. From the position that they held, like, they had to fight off against a fair few teams and hold quite a few different angles. They're a team that typically plays on 3 players, though, which is curious. I'd like to see them as a full 4 for once.
They have Major Pride have managed to get 5 eliminations now, drawing level with the elimination tally this game and reclaiming that first place spot. But they've got to cross the road and into MSJ, right? This is a battle for... Actually, all top 3 teams are on that northwest side. And RSG, the currently lowest ranked team alive in this game, could also have a third-party impact.
It's probably more important for Team Spirit right now as opposed to Mirin Sejong and Major Pride. Purely because both those teams, they have that buffer between them and 4th place, whereas Team Spirit just really does not. And going into tomorrow, if we're met with another couple of bad games from Team Spirit at the beginning of things where they went down very early, twice in a row over on Sandhawk into our first Eren goal, you don't want teams just clambering over the top of you again. It has been a difficult day to try and reclaim a lot of those points that they lost at the beginning of the game.
Next circle shifts a little bit away from the compound. Team Spirit more in than MSJ, but they can regroup to that side. I don't know if you caught that, but Lamborghini, the solo for DXavier, is holding out Muerti with a little help from Vampires. Now DRX are moving up from the south side to clash with the Vampires on this northeast edge. Vampires lose a player. The nades continue to pour on over the top. The stone goes very, very low, but an answer towards Hyunbin takes him equally down on that health bar, and the hovercraft to move on forwards there for DRX. Schweppes needing to get res. Stone gets the heal off. Hyunbin gets knocked. Kaitse with a nade up high. This looks good. Could be troublesome, but goes long. A bounce. No, not going to connect there.
Yeah, that nade was way long, and Schweppes kind of runs straight back into the next one. Which goes in the exact same position. And news he gets caught out next. So although the first grenade wasn't great, the next two were pretty on target. And DRX is very happy with the way that fight goes down. Although Hyunbin as well as Kaisei go extremely low, neither actually falls to their knees, and they can quickly get themselves healed back up and back into the game over on that eastern side. And that means they claim the majority of the eastern edge. So for DRX, this is a game that could absolutely start to pop off for them.
Definite lack of competition in this area, but Muerte, they're sort of stretching out with the remnants that they've got. They've got 2 players remaining. You can see Pusher actually moving out to the east side, and will be under a lot of dangerous threat from that eastern edge with DRX moving through. Major Pride still trying to get across, and Final goes down first. Team Spirit are actually finally breaking the peace accords and going over to that western side and picking up a point for their trouble. They're still on 3. MSJ on 3 players as well. Major Pride back on into the fight on the north edge.
They have nothing. These poor fools. They've got no stims, no smokes, no utility. What a rough time this is for Team Spirit. They essentially need someone to crash and then they win a consistent fight off the back of that. And it looks like they are pushing up. Fair enough. They need those crates. They need the crates.
And they managed to find 2 of them. Immediately finding 2 knocks and quick flushes in response. Bay has to keep his head down here, but needs to move for the blue zone as well. The circle shifts out to the northwest side, keeps these compounds in for Team Spirit and MSJ. Major Pride sweeping through, and they're up to 7 eliminations now, Blank. They are making this one work. You said you wanted to see a game where Major Pride didn't get the circle and made it work. Well, here it may be for you, presented in the last game of the day.
It's nice. I think they'll struggle coming down off this hillside, but they have more util and potentially Viren Sejong as well as Team Spirit. It's a good initial shot there from Hoxie, though. We'll find Elementrix, and again, they are outside the circle just about.
A lot of pressure being forced in now. MSJ having to move a little bit more than Team Spirit again. Once more have the inside track, but the outside area controlled by DRX. This is the big threat in this lobby right now. And there it is. Hyunbin strikes over towards Nomi. Kitsune has to go for this res in the little nook that they've been able to sequester themselves away in.
Well, now Effect has to deal with the entirety of Major Pride himself. There are nades as well to be sent down. Good backstab from Bengal. That's 2. They need to confirm off the back of that. Is another solo to take them out. The DXavier. Damn. Now DRX comes across. I don't think no one knows that there's 2 teams here. That's the best part.
That is still pretty crazy. I mean, DXavier with their last player alive, just outlasting the lobby time and time again with solos. Team Spirit not getting the flushes on towards Major Pride is really unfortunate. A nade up towards Foopsman. Does connect, not getting the final blow, but more nades are flying over the top as well as Elementrix spots Lamborghini. So the last player for DXavier is dealt with as Major Pride are back up to all 3 of their players, Blank, but they're trapped on the inside. This is dangerous, but they fight through.
I'm not doing a horrid job either. I mean, it's going to get tough in this building, though, as DRX should find that last player. I don't know how he survived there. I think Team Spirit might be able to steal away a couple of those, but it's actually Hyunbin to pick up 1. In comes Hoxie, though. His effects already found.
Oh, and goes flushed as well. Another up for the next. It's Kitsune and Nomi on the inside. The duo for Team Spirit against 3 for MSJ. Hoxie's cleaning these angles away, but the stunner goes out. A big peek there, but not going to work out as Kitsune goes down first. It's all up to Nomi. Still in a 1 versus 3, but it's not going to happen. They are down and out. Team Spirit swept aside. DRX trying to control MSJ from rampaging out of it as well. But 2 of their players are down, and MSJ are finding openings left and right. So is in the smoke. Doesn't have any hard cover. Seiwoo on the low ground. Hoxie on the backlines. With the shotgun, he's been plenty efficacious, but at range, not so deadly. Seiwoo now the last to stand. It's a 1v2. Can he make it work for the South Koreans for a 3rd time today? Claiming the top spot. It's their big challenge. Seiwoo around the side of the crop duster. Soas breaks wide, but it's not going to be this time around. Their brethren from South Korea. It's DRX to take it down.
I mean, they had an easy game from that eastern side, and it was very well cleared out. An easy goal after that point. Looked a little bit shaky towards the end there with Mirin Jong finding something in them I don't think they had at the start of this tournament. A little bit of bravery to push on through, even as 2 players. Unfortunate on the reload that had to come through towards the end there, otherwise, there might have been a